friends. Today we have brought for you such a heart-wrenching incident, which will send chills down your spine. This is about a small town in Mumbai. There were some people living in a building who lived together in harmony. Suddenly, a foul smell started coming from a flat in that building, which was so bad that it became difficult for people to pass by. Whenever people returned home from work or women left the house, they used to pass by keeping a handkerchief on their nose to avoid that smell. Initially, people thought that maybe some animal like a rat or a cat had died in the building. People searched their houses thoroughly, but nothing was found. As the days passed, the smell increased more and more. Then slowly everyone realized that it was not the smell of an animal, but the smell of a human corpse. Everyone was stunned to hear this. But what was the matter? Why was the smell like a human corpse coming from the flat of that building? What happened that shook everyone? There were 4 apartments in that building. 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, and 4th floor. Now people started wondering what was the matter. The person in 1st floor asked the person in 2nd floor, and in this way everyone started asking each other. Then everyone together decided to talk to the person living in 4th floor. When everyone reached there, that person refused to open the door. Initially, people did not pay much attention to this. But later, everyone realized that all the bad smell was coming from that flat. When people knocked on the door continuously and tried a lot, still there was no response. Suddenly, instead of bad smell, fragrance started coming from the same room. This made everyone realize that whoever was inside the room has just used a room freshener. People immediately came down and talked to the building manager. They said, "Sir, there's a lot of bad smell in our flats. Please find some solution to this." But the manager did not pay much attention to this, and time passed. As the smell increased, people decided that they will talk to the person living in that room and ask him to clean his flat. A man named Aakash lived in that flat. When a person from the other apartment was standing outside his room thinking about something, Aakash came out of the room. The person standing in front of him saw Aakash and said that there is a lot of bad smell coming from your apartment. And because of this smell, it has become difficult for us to even stand on the next floor. You should clean your room. It is possible that some animal has died in your room. Aakash replied, "Okay, there is a bad smell. I did not feel any bad smell and I did not know anything about it. Anyway, I will clean it when I return from work in the evening." Saying this, Aakash left the place immediately. The man standing there started thinking, "We are getting disturbed by such a bad smell while standing outside. And how is this person living with this bad smell while living in his room?" The man soon went to the other people in the building and told them that Aakash's actions did not seem right to him. Everyone together went to the building manager and discussed the matter. Then they remembered that a similar case had happened in Delhi a few days ago, where a person had brutally murdered a girl and chopped her into pieces and kept her in the fridge. Now he started suspecting that something similar might be happening in 4th floor. Aakash and his wife living in 4th floor used to stay isolated from the other people. People in the other flats of that building were quite friendly with each other. But Aakash always remained quiet and used to mind his work only. His wife also did not mingle with anyone much. She used to just keep quiet. People thought that maybe some big problem was going on in their room. When no solution was found, they all called the police. The police came and the building manager took them 4th floor room number 704. And told them about the foul smell. As soon as the police smelled the smell, they guessed that something was wrong because they had seen such cases earlier as well. The police broke the door with the help of the people standing there. As soon as the door was broken, such a strong stench came from inside that everyone got goosebumps and people started running away from the room. The stench was so bad that it became difficult to bear it. The police tried again wearing a mask and entered the room. As soon as they entered the room, they saw that a wood-cutting saw was lying on the floor. Seeing this, the police got suspicious. First of all, the police went to the bedroom, then checked the bathroom, but nothing was found there. After this, they checked the fridge because they suspected that the incident of Delhi must have been repeated here as well. But nothing was found in the fridge. Then the police reached the kitchen. From what they saw in the kitchen, they understood the whole situation. There were 2 buckets and a tub kept in the kitchen which were filled with blood. Along with blood, there were also pieces of bruised flesh in those buckets, but it was still not clear whether these pieces of flesh belonged to an animal or a human. Many of them were thinking that something wrong was definitely happening here. Some even guessed that maybe these people were butchers and all these pieces of an animal. But after some time, their thinking changed when they saw a human leg in a bucket. Apart from that, there were other pieces of flesh also. The police investigated more deeply and found that there was a pressure cooker in the kitchen which was broken. As soon as the police opened the pressure cooker, another shocking scene came in front of them. Inside the pressure cooker also there were many pieces of flesh. A pan was also kept on the stove. When it was looked at carefully, it was found that there were marks of roasting meat on the same pan. Questions were arising in the mind of the police that who was that person who was killed in this manner. Meanwhile, the police found a braid of hair which belonged to a woman. Now they understood that all these pieces belonged to a woman. Till now they had a clue, but they had to find out who this woman was. The police asked the people nearby. People told that a couple lives here, Aakash and his wife Mubeena. Aakash was seen in the morning, but Mubeena was missing for 2-3 days. No one could see her. Now the police suspected that it might be Mubeena, but only Aakash could tell the truth. The police decided that they had to catch Aakash, but there was a problem. If they caught him by surprise, then he could run away, and then it would be difficult to find him. So the police made a plan that they will leave 2 policemen in civil clothes inside the building, while the rest will wait outside for him to come out. This will not give Aakash a chance to escape. Now the police was waiting for Aakash. As soon as it was evening, Aakash came back from work. The police surrounded him from all sides. The policeman immediately caught Aakash, and when he was questioned about what was happening in his room and where was his wife, Aakash was shocked. Then he said, "Sir, let's sit in the room and I will tell you the whole truth and also tell you that I have no fault in all these things." The policeman said, "We will find out whose fault it is, but tell us openly about whatever you did." Aakash quickly took a puff of cigarette and then started his story. He told, "I used to live with my parents in a small house and used to do hard labor. When I grew up, my parents passed away. Now I was completely helpless. I was already unemployed. Sometimes I would get work, sometimes not. But then I started working at a permanent place. It was a grocery shop. I was running the shop well. People from the neighborhood would buy things from there, and they would also respect me a lot. I had made many acquaintances. But one day something happened. A woman came to that shop, bought things and left. She started coming to my shop often, and I started liking her. Some days went very well, but suddenly something happened. I had an accident due to a car collision, and I lost a lot of blood. I was given a blood transfusion, so that my life could be saved. I recovered. But after a few months, I fell ill again. When I went to the hospital and got my tests done, I came to know that I had cancer. Got more tests done, and realized that the blood that had saved my life was the reason for my disease. I started getting treatment and returned to my work. At the same shop, I met the same girl again, whose name was Mubeena. Now both of us had come closer to each other, because now friendship was going to turn into love, and after love into marriage, and then the day came when we got married. Both of us were living a good life, but now the expenses had increased a lot. Earlier, I was alone. Now my wife had come. I had given my small house on rent, from which I was getting rent of 35,000 rupees per month. I myself started living in a flat on a low rent, where my expenses were only 10,000. In this way, I started saving 25,000 rupees directly. On the other hand, I was also working at a grocery shop, due to which we were living well. My wife used to live with her uncle before marriage, because there was a fight going on between her parents. Her mother, along with her 5 daughters, started living in a separate house with her uncle, because uncle was a very good person. Then came a day when her uncle died. She was bearing this sorrow when after a few months her mother also died. Now these 5 sisters together started earning their livelihood by doing hard labor. During this time I met Mubeena at the grocery store, and today we both were living as husband and wife. Our business was going well, and we were living a decent life. But suddenly one day the grocery store closed due to some reason, and I lost my job. Now it was becoming difficult for us to survive, because after losing the job there was a shortage of money in the house, and fights had started. Mubeena always used to ask me about money. She always used to talk about money. She used to ask me where to eat, where to get money. She used to ask me to go somewhere else and find a job. Some time passed like this, and I started working in a factory. Many women also used to work in that factory. My wife was overcome by the disease of suspicion. When I used to return home in the evening, she used to doubt me and used to say all kinds of things. Sometimes she used to snatch my mobile, and sometimes she used to say bad things by making excuses, which used to make me angry. I tried to explain to my wife many times, but she did not understand anything. One day I got fed up and slapped my wife twice. She started crying and made the whole house upset. Somehow I left for work. I kept working in the factory the whole day, but only the thoughts of my wife kept on going in my mind. I was praying that, oh God, give guidance to my wife. When I returned home in the evening and opened the door of the room, the ground slipped under my feet. My wife was lying on the ground, and around her were people. Some medicines were scattered. I ran and picked her up. She was bleeding and was not breathing. My wife had passed away. She had consumed poison. The police asked me, "If your wife had consumed poison, why did you not complain to the police?" I replied fearfully. I was afraid that the police would hold me guilty and send me to jail because it was my wife's mistake, and I would have become a scapegoat. So I did not tell you people anything. I thought, why not dispose of her body? But it was difficult for me to take the entire body out like this because I lived on the 4th floor. If I had taken the body out, someone would have seen me and asked me what I was doing. What would I tell them then? Then I decided that I would break my wife's body into pieces and dispose of it. First of all, I went to the city and bought some tools like hammer, saw, woodcutter, and some other things. Then I returned home and started cutting my wife's corpse into pieces. But I knew that I would not be able to do this work very quickly, and in a short time the corpse would start rotting and stink, because the smell of a human corpse is much more horrific than that of an animal. I knew this very well. Then I thought that there is only one way to eliminate this smell. I took a pressure cooker and put some pieces of my wife's corpse in it and started boiling them. After boiling, I used to fry them on a pan. My purpose of boiling in a pressure cooker was that no smell should come out from inside the pieces, and frying them on the pan would completely eliminate the smell. By doing this, the smell had reduced, and the parts of the whole body would melt and become completely liquid. And I used to flush them in the bathroom. The pieces of meat that were left, I would put them in a plastic bag, and when I went to work, I would take them with me. I used to wake up early in the morning and go to work. I would leave when people around were sleeping. Then I would throw these small pieces outside, where the dogs were, and they would eat these pieces. All the people living in this society were surprised that why these dogs wait for us every day, that someone would give them something to eat. When people would feed flatbread to the dogs would not even smell them. People were confused as to what was the matter. Actually, I used to cut my wife's meat into small pieces, boil them and fry them on a pan and feed them to the dogs. When the dogs' stomachs were full of meat, why would they want anything else? The police were stunned to hear Aakash's words. They were not able to believe his words at all. They were thinking that he is the murderer of his wife. They were not able to understand how a person can be so cruel. The police were completely sure that Aakash had killed his wife, and now he is making up stories to save himself. The police thought that now the post-mortem of this dead body should be done. But whose post-mortem should be done? Aakash had already fed the rest of his wife's body to the dogs. Only one leg was left. The police now started searching the whole house so that some other part could be found on which the post-mortem could be done. The police was constantly questioning Aakash, and he had also been beaten up a lot, but Aakash was still not ready to accept his mistake. Aakash answered every question of the police very cleverly, but the police was convinced that he had killed his wife. This news spread like fire in the whole neighborhood that Aakash had done something with his wife that no one could have imagined. At the same time, the police found a witness who knew about Aakash's wife. This witness was a woman named Nazia, who lived in Aakash's neighborhood. Nazia told the police that Aakash often beat his wife. I have heard her crying many times, and once his wife had told me that she cannot tolerate all this anymore. She had also told me that Aakash had an illicit relationship with another woman. Hearing this, the police's suspicion deepened. They asked Nazia, "Are you sure that Aakash had a relationship with another woman?" Nazia shook her head and said, "Yes. I myself have seen him going out late at night many times, and he had threatened me that if I tell anyone, he will kill me. If I tell anything, he will not spare me either." Police was now preparing to completely corner Aakash. They checked his call records and messages. There, they found a number with which he used to talk often. This number belonged to a girl named Shabana. Police immediately arrested Shabana. Shabana confessed that she was in a relationship with Aakash, and Aakash wanted to marry her. She also told that Aakash wanted to divorce his wife, but his wife was not ready. She used to say repeatedly that if Aakash left her, she would kill herself. But I did not know that she would actually do this, Shabana said in fear. Now the police started questioning Aakash strictly. After beating him, Aakash finally revealed the truth. He said, "Yes, I loved Shabana, but my wife used to threaten me repeatedly that she would commit suicide. That day when I slapped her, she told me that now she will be away from my life forever. I thought she was joking, but when I returned home in the evening, she had actually taken her own life." The police officer asked, "Why did you cut her body into pieces?" Aakash replied tremblingly, "I was afraid that if anyone came to know that she had committed suicide, people would blame me. So I decided to dispose of her body, but the police found this story incomplete. They furthered the investigation and collected bloodstains from the walls and floor of Aakash house. This blood was giving evidence of a cut with a sharp weapon. The post-mortem report revealed that Aakash's wife had not died of burning but of slitting her throat. The police said to Aakash, "You are lying. Your wife did not commit suicide. You murdered her." Aakash was now completely broken and accepted it. He said, "Yes, I killed her. She used to taunt me repeatedly, used to humiliate me, and when she came to know about Shabana, he threatened to throw me out of the house. In anger, I slit his throat." Aakash was arrested and was punished for his crimes in the court. The judge said that your crime is unforgivable. You not only murdered your wife, but what you did to her body is against humanity. Aakash was given life imprisonment. Shabana was also made a co-accused by the court and was held guilty for hatching the conspiracy.